Okay. So I figured instead of hosting a Zoom meeting, I would actually just put out a video for you guys to uh, just watch at any time, and then you can see some of the stuff to go through with your VO account, and then you guys can ask me questions from there. That should hopefully, and you can always go back and refer to that video and anything from there. So the first thing I want to say is I have Loki here as well, and I've got Brian here as well, and so uh, it's a Saturday, guys. These guys are gonna be doing stuff in the background. So if you hear some noise, it's just them hanging out, enjoying their weekend. So Brian, don't worry if you make noise. I know I just told you not to, but don't worry. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to share my screen and sort of show you guys what I think is going to be best. Okay. So I'm going to flip on over to this. The first thing you guys want to do is you're going to want to head to app.vo.co. And right now I am signed in, but what it should look like is something like this. Great. It's going to ask you to sign up, etc. You're going to need to sign up for an account there. It's going to ask you just really simple things like stuff like this for players, but for you guys, it'll ask more questions like this, just the basic: choose your avatar, do you want email settings, what's your email, and then your password and your phone. So once you guys are set up, what the easiest way for me to get you guys into the right teams is to send you an individual link. So go back to app.vo.co. What happens is the teams are broken down into our age groups. And what I have to do is I have to send you guys individual unique links that'll allow you to join in. So a good example is, I think Corey has one. So if you look here, once we get started with your actual players, they will all get their own player link that'll allow them to register as a player and have viewing access to just that team that they're in. And then a guy like Corey can edit some of these videos. So this is what it's going to look like on his team page. From there, if you make a mistake, I have the ability to remove someone or change roles. So if I want to make, if you get signed up and I want to make you a coach or a player team admin, that'll allow you to do that. So beyond this, the first thing I could tell you about using VEO is it is easiest when you use it in Chrome. I use Safari for virtually everything else, but I use Chrome for VEO because Safari has like this flickering thing when you're looking at it. And it's just, VEO is actually made for Chrome use. So there are tools that you can't use in Safari, and I haven't tried it with the Internet Explorer, that you can use in Chrome. And so I would just use Chrome. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So when you get to your team, and all it is I will create a link like this. It'll populate a quick link for, and I have to specify it's for a coach and then an editor, or a player and a viewer or other, and then etc. It'll generate that link. This link is only good for 7 days. I will send that out to you guys for use, and then you guys can sign up. When you get in, what it looks like is it'll say my teams. up here are teams that you're associated with. I'm on all of them, but for you, it might just say 2000 and 2010, green, 2010, and 2014. The teams that you're working with is the ones that you will have access to. And then from there, I will pull up, I have probably the most amount of work in my 2006s. It'll show this. It'll have recordings that are tagged for you. And so when you do your recording, I will show you guys how to tag your team, and then it'll have your members in it. So then it'll have all your players, and obviously yourself as the coach. Recordings will get automatically uploaded into this area that says recordings. And every time a recording goes up, it automatically puts highlights in it. So I will show you a recording that has no edits, just automatic highlights from it. So I know that Corey has not gotten a chance to really go through this, but he does have one recording. And so Corey here has one recording, and it automatically puts in highlights. I'm going to pull this down. These are different. This is like a timed highlight, and it has things like that show you when there's the half break, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to pull this down really quick so it makes it larger. What happens is you will have highlights that are automatically put in here by VEO. So like the half start, half end, and goals. Those ones are automatically put in by VEO. Let me pull up another recording, one that hasn't been touched. I think I touched that one. I think this is one I haven't touched. Yes, great. Okay. So if you see here, it's got half start. So we started this game a little bit behind, but what it would look like at the beginning, start half, it gives you a couple of seconds before you start. If you look here, there's all these circles. These are unconfirmed highlights. So we'll jump to, well, this is a good one. We're going to put this is correct. It correctly marked that it's the half start. So what you want to do is you want to push save. So that will change that highlight from a little see-through circle to an opaque circle. And that just lets us know that that is a correct highlight. So as we're going through, it looks like we're about to get a goal in the next couple of minutes. Maybe it's correct, maybe it's not. And if I believe right, this is Lewis does get a goal right here. 39-22 is a goal right here. That's the same thing we just watched. And these are all automatically uploaded by VEO. You don't have to label these. So I'll save that as a goal. I'll jump to the best way to do is to jump to each of them, see if they're correct in their highlights. Looks like we get another goal here. Looks like it is Lewis again getting the ball on the run, carrying forward. And indeed, that is a goal. So you can go through saving and going through each of these auto uploaded highlights. And that's what it looks like on the side when you have these auto uploaded highlights. If it's incorrect, if it mislabels a goal, sometimes they mislabel a goal, then you can push the delete button, and that way it'll delete that highlight. So the first thing I'll say is every time it goes up, these auto highlights are things that you need to go through and confirm. Beyond that, once you get into the coaching or what you want to break down, I will show you there are highlights that you can start to play with and create. So as an example, you'll use this top right button to create a new highlight. And as you create a new highlight, you can say any one of these things: attack, corner, defense. penalty kick, etc. You can even create some of your own tags. So that'll tag a certain portion of the game that you want to see. So let's see if I can catch. I've already edited some of these. As an example, I created a drawing right here. My comment was, and the way that I do my editing is if it has a little dash or a negative sign, that's something that we need to work on. So you can create little highlights that are little drawings, and that's part of the system. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute, but this is what it looks like. Right here, I want to highlight the fact that my center midfielders are too close together and they're too pulled over. And I do that by having a little drawing go. I'll click this, it'll go through it, it'll show you what that looks like. And I identify, say, hey, our guys are too pulled over. They're all on this side of the field. They need to be pushed away. And then you'll see I create, this is the space that these guys need to occupy, and Lewis needs to come into this space right here. So you can do that as many times as you want. Here's another drawing I created, right here. I talk about how Colin has his man and then how he loses his man. This is a corner that we're taking, or a free kick that we gave up. I paused the drawing to show Colin loses his man here, doesn't stay on the inside of him. So this kid gets on the inside of him, ends up winning the ball. And then we also lose this man right here. James loses his guy. And then this kid ends up getting a good shot off that Hush makes a good save, and we squeak by on that. So you can create as many highlights as you want. They don't have to be drawings. They can just be a good example of an attack, I comment on Jad. Jad receives this ball here. The ball is going to swing out to our left side, and Jad has it, and he needs to go forward with this ball instead of going backwards into that space, so that way we're not in trouble. Again, this is a good example to show that, where I want to say, hey, Jad, we got to go forward with the ball that you receive. You can't play this ball backwards. We're starting to move forward. Our space is transitioning, and we don't have the players to go backwards with it. Again, here's another drawing that I put up where Lewis has the ball, and I indicate where he needs to slip the ball through. Or, the ball needs to get slipped through for this attack. Lewis wins the ball in the center of the park, beats the first guy. Now I show a little drawing and say, hey, don't try and play it directly to the man. Instead, play it in the space. He'll go get it. Those are different things that you can do. And I'll look for an opportunity in this game to create a highlight right now, so that way we can take a look at it. Okay, and it can be positive things, right? Like, here's one. We'll create a highlight right here, and we will say, we'll make it an attack. We'll say solid shape. I usually do a little plus, solid shape from our CMs. And then from there, this button doesn't exist on Safari. It only works on Chrome, so you got to do that. And then I can add a little drawing. I can say, great job from our, not CMs, I should say CBs, center backs. And, I can say, also I can make little arrows to say, as we move forward, make sure we step with the line. And I can even create a little, ball should be played in this space right here. Oh, this is changing the color. So you can change the color right there. I can say ball should be placed in the space right here. I can create a line right there. I would assume that that's a little bit easier seen with pink. And I can do that. I can say step with There's two ways to tag kids. If you do at, and then you begin to type it, I can say Jones. Jones is Hayden, and he is not registered in right now. So I've got to get him registered. I can also say James. You know, I can say James right there, or you can also choose players right here. This is your list of players that are registered, etc. You can also, as you're creating this, and then that's your drawing, you can also create the length of your highlight. If you want it to only span, you know, a couple of seconds, then that's fine. If you want it to span 10 seconds, there you go. There's a 10-second highlight, boom. And that way you can take a look at it. If it's 30 seconds of good play or highlightable play, then span it over 30 seconds. You can also change the camera. So if you want to change it to, and I'll show you that in a second. But the point is, here's how you make your highlights. You create your highlights, boom, done. And now that is a part of the game, a part of our overall all highlights right here. Or if we're looking at this thing, we open it up right here. Let me see here. Let me reboot that really quickly. And we're looking at right here. All of a sudden, that one that we just did, which was an attack / a drawing at 54 minutes, is now in this right here. Boom. That's that highlight right there. We can take a look at it, see it in the context of the game, and see that drawing that I put down in the context of the game. It should pause it for a second and say, yep, our center backs have a good solid shape. And that drawing comes up. Keep that, make sure we step with the play, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So one thing that is really incredible about the VEO camera system is that while we're looking at this, oops, sorry to do that, guys. While we're looking at this, I'm going to pull down this timeline thing. There are two ways to view this. So while you're going through and you're viewing it, you can actually take a look at the interactive camera. So this is, I'll pull us out of the interactive camera. This is the broadcast view. The broadcast view uses AI that automatically uploads. You don't have to worry about it. To zoom in, pan around, make sure it's following the game. You know, we'll see if we can get some end-to-end stuff. I think we'll go back to here. Yeah, this is good. You can see how the game, it follows the ball, zooms in on it when you need it to, sort of giving it like a broadcast feel to the game. Way to go, Lance. Sorry. Yeah, giving a broadcast feel. You can see Jones is going to smack it forward. It's keeping an eye on this end of the half, and as it pans around, hopefully we get a chance to go forward with this. Yep, boom. We haven't gotten out of our area. Eventually, we'll get it to go long, and you'll see how it pans out. But the great thing about this system is that it isn't just recording this broadcast angle. This is just the AI at work. And I'll give you a good example of that. If we pause for a second and we want to see what the rest of our field looks like, you can take it and put it in this interactive player. Now you can actually take your mouse and hover over the entire field. And if you want to get an even better look, and you can even see where the goalie is, you know, where the goalie is, the entire thing, it's always recording the entire game all the time. So, and finally, we get the ball moving forward. That's great. what we can do is we can even take a panoramic look of it and see what the entire field looks like. This is what the camera, all the camera is taking a look at. How that makes a difference is when you're going in to create a highlight, and we'll step out of this. We'll put it back into, this is a great sequence of play. When you're creating a highlight, you might say attack, right? You can change it from the follow cam to the interactive cam and direct that highlight however you want. This gives you 360 direction. You can zoom in however you want. You know, if you want to say, for example, you know, our shape on the far side, you didn't see it when Lewis had the ball here. It's impossible to see when you have the ball here on this follow cam, but what you can see is Jad, who will become a factor later on right here. He's in a great position. He's not too far swung over. He's not overcrowding. And you'll see that Jad ends up being in a great position to make something happen later on. So you can move this frame, add keyframes, and Jad, who's all the way out here, you can show him being in the right position to receive a good ball and then eventually play a good ball. I'm going to put it back on the follow cam and play a good ball right here. And works out nicely. Same with Colin or my right midfield on this side. I wish Josh would play a little faster, but that is the really neat part about this, is that you can record, you can make a highlight out of anything, out of it. The entire field is getting recorded at all times. So you can always make that highlight on something that you want if you're trying to dial in on something. Cool. So I'll go back. The last thing I want to show you is that VEO does a great job. I learned a lot of these things through the VEO YouTube page. So VEO does a great job showing a lot of really neat things. And all you got to do is youtube.com/VEO camera. That takes you right to their page. There are plenty and plenty of playlists that they have or videos that they have that describe all kinds of things. Things like how other clubs are using it, you know, the quote unquote, how to use VEO like a pro type thing. But then also like really great examples of how to use, I think this is it. Oops.
Hey guys, just
close this out. How to use VEO and the best way. Here's how other clubs are using it. The thing I think is most useful is when I looked through some of these playlists, they actually gave really good examples of how to use different playback speeds, how to tag players. So this is how I learned a lot of how I know to use VEO, and then also just playing around with things. So this page is really good. This will tell you some of these things are not useful for you guys. Like you're not going to have to worry about the original VEO account, but this will show you how to draw on a screen. You know, some of the basics right here, how to teach your kids how to make their own player profiles. Don't worry about some of these things like managing and creating team members. I do some of that stuff. Or, you know, maintaining your tripod. I do that. But, you know, when you're at the field on your own, how to set up your tripod and how to get your VEO camera going if you ever need to do it without me. And so this is a really great main page for just learning how to do stuff. So if you have any questions at all, this is pretty much where I go to. If you have any questions at all, I can learn with you or I can teach you. If you guys need to or want to spend some time with me working on it, I'm happy to go over it with you guys. It is a really sweet program. The AI is just incredible. the film that you're going to get is incredible. And, I have no problem showing you guys, or, going through, lots of different things. If you guys want to use this for, I'll show you an example I used on my 2010 black team just for training. Like, here's obviously a game that they had, but I decided I wanted to test it out on training originally, and it's a great idea to actually do it through training. So you'll see here, these guys, are playing a 2v2 session where they go back and forth, and they're working hard to work on their finishing drills, and boom, solid. The great thing about it is that this is all AI. It picks up the ball. If there's multiple balls on the field, it usually can pick up the ball that you can see there's multiple balls here. It usually can pick up the ball that you want it to. One last thing I want to let you guys know is that while right now it's muted, typically, or right now I have not figured out a way to mute. Good finish. It's going to have sound on it. So there will be sound with VEO, and it does have a microphone. So part ways that's good because you can hear the coaching that you're instructing. Sometimes it might not be the best because, sometimes you've got to watch what you're saying on the sideline and make sure that it's good. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to use this through training. And again, it picks up the ball that's in play for 95% of the time. All right. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. As you guys are using it, you'll be able to label the correct videos, put in the correct team bucket, and it should be pretty intuitive. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. I'm going to send along some notes that I have on this. So it'll be sort of a step process that I went over right now. And then obviously you guys should be able to view this on YouTube. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye. I can learn how to.